I hope we're all doing extremely well this evening. On Saturday, the 25th of October, mere 2 months till Christmas. I hope we're all doing extremely well this evening. I mean, how can we not be well, right? 4-2 win. Liverpool losing as well. I mean, that's a surprise. We can get into that as well. We can talk about all that stuff as well this evening. You know, we're into fourth position at the moment. Whether we stay there or not, we still, you know, there are still teams ahead. But as of tonight, we can enjoy this. Scott's already in the chat saying, I said 3-2 Liverpool would get beat. Scott is agent. Scott is the man. City gets stuff tomorrow 2-1. So get into it tonight, guys. If this is your first time here, I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel. We do things slightly differently on this channel. I do tend to read out your chats. This is why these shows take so long to do, because I respect your opinion. I hope you respect mine. Yeah, the one thing that we will ask for here is to be respectful. Be respectful to the moderators, be respectful to the chat, be respectful to me, be respectful to yourself. So we don't have to get the ban hammer out. We absolutely hate getting the ban hammer out, but we will. Also, as I said, I'm not a dictator of this chat. I have an opinion. You have yours. Doesn't mean that my opinion is the end of the conversation. It's just an opinion. And if I do come back on your opinion, it's not because I'm trying to besmirch your opinion. It literally is just because I'm reading them live, and then and then we react together. So today, match reaction 4-2. Brilliant. How can you not be happy? I'll prefix the start of this show whereby, of course, there are players in this team that I'm not overly happy with, but I think tonight is not to go on about those guys. We've won. You know, there is a constant comment from Blue King Tiger. I think it is that basically says to me, you know, why don't you get behind your team? You know, and I do take that on board. I do take that on board. I think it's really important in game. Read my top comment. I have, my friend. I said 3-2 Liverpool would get beat. Scott, legend. City would get stuff tomorrow 2-1 as well. So let's see, Scott. Let's see if you can be right on two counts. So I think what I'll prefix this with. And also tonight, this is your show tonight as well, right? So get in there. This is more about me reading your comments. We'll go through the game, but this is your show, bringing some stuff about the game today. Bringing some stuff. I don't know if you're a Liverpool fan, you know, Chelsea fan as well. You know, I think it should be a really interesting conversation tonight. How the fact that we're apparently this relegation team that's going to be awful and we're going to go down. And yet there we are sitting in fourth, beyond, I'll even say beyond my expectations this season. But we do need to temper this with, let's not get carried away with this. I also want to know, those of you who are Amorim out. Now, I'm not here to disrespect your opinion. I'd like to know whether you're still Amorim out. Tulip places HJB. Tulip, legend of the chat as well. So I'd like to know really if you're still Amorim out. Are you still Amorim out? Now look, I'm not here to call people out. I just want to know where those people are tonight. Great win. Let's keep rolling. Exactly. So what I wanted to do to set the show up really for me as well tonight, there are two things. Number one is I do criticize these players a lot, and I will continue to do that. Tonight is not that day. I will, when we go through the game, you give me your opinions. I will critique players where I think that, you know, maybe they didn't have the best game, but it's tonight is not about whether I think players are good or bad. I think you guys can get into that within the chat. I think what's really important tonight, and as I said, whether or not I think players are good or bad, they're here for the season. I want to champion these players, and whether or not they had a good or a bad game, I think is really important to try to cheer these players on, and then we can then start to critique them as well, maybe Wednesday, Thursday next week. But I think tonight is another win. It is a team effort, and I do take things on board. Right, I do think sometimes I'm overly critical of players, but it still doesn't mean that some of these players are good enough for this club. But at the same time, I do think that we should be level-headed and support these players. And also, as well, I sort of have said this, is that I will be fair where fair is due. And I said before the season started that United, what they've tried to do is they tried to buy goals. Okay, and one of the things that I said is that when you try to buy goals, it doesn't always translate. Anton, let's not start that again. Let's not start that again. Anton, please. You're welcome. See, Anton, mate, you're gone. So Anton, let's not be playing silly buggers tonight. Otherwise, we have the old banner hammer. So I did say this, that Ineos's plan was to buy goals. Now, at the moment, that hasn't translated, but I do have to give, I think for the first time, where fair is due, is the footballing side of Ineos, the Mbeumo signing and the Cunha signing, I think it's brilliant. I do have to say, look, I think these two players are United players. Now, do I think they'd get into the old squads? Possibly not. But these two players, signing these two players, could turn out to be a masterstroke. So I think, whilst it is only 9 games, and whilst I'm not necessarily talking about where we're going to finish in the league, I have to say at this point, these two players are fantastic. And I think that the football side of Ineos have done well in signing these two players. So, and as Scott said, champions not playing like champions. And Mbeumo is world class. I wouldn't go that far just yet. But I do get where you're coming from. Martin says, John, I did 300 keep ups today. Bloody hell. I don't think I could do 10 right now. That's amazing. Martin, I don't think I could do probably about 10. Yeah, I've not kicked a football in a very, very long time, but 300, mate, is amazing. Wayne, my friend, legend of this channel, Wayne, I've been expecting you to come on tonight. Wayne, I'll say this, is that what's really the interesting thing now, right, guys, is that whenever we win or lose, or whenever teams, I now start to think about you guys, right? So when I was checking the Liverpool score tonight, I was actually thinking about Wayne, and I was thinking about sort of how Wayne is always on here. Wayne's an amazing guy, respectful Liverpool fan, and I have to say I was gutted for Wayne tonight. Not necessarily gutted because Liverpool lost, because as a rival fan, it always pleases me. But when I talk to you guys on here, you guys have become my little family, right? So I almost really hate it when these things happen. But Wayne, yes, very bad result again. Never say never, right? But I do think that's possibly you guys out of the race. Look, Arsenal could lose tomorrow. City could lose tomorrow. And if that does happen, then pretty much it's there or thereabouts, right? So I think, do I think Liverpool are going to win the league this season? My hunch right now would say no. 9 games down and you've already lost 4 games. But I think at the moment, I think the biggest concern is to basically stop this rot. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Where did all the Pool fans exactly cheer? You know, you got people like Wayne who come on here, who are a Liverpool fan, amazing part of this community. I wish we had more fans like Wayne. And also, Tulip, what's really funny as well is where are all the Amorim outers? And that's not a dig at them, by the way. I'm talking about more so the toxic ones, right? Because we do get people like Mark in here who's been supporting this channel for a long, long time. And he comes on and he gives comments and that sort of stuff. I'm talking about the toxic ones. Where are the relegation comments now? You know, and I'm not for once. I'm not suggesting that this club is back. I'm not suggesting that. The things that I've asked Amorim to do and this team to do or start to do, they've started to do that. And you're right, Tulip. Where are all those people now who are really quick to judge? You know, the Grimsby game. I took pelters on that because I was like, I can see it. Where are those? Like, I would admire those people more if they still come on and still said the same things. I'm not against anybody. I'm not calling anybody out. But I want to know where's this consistency? If Doe keeps playing in starting 11, I know David. I'm not gonna. I'll leave you guys. I will read out your comments. I will happily read out your comments. But tonight, I'm not going to get into that tonight. I will talk about them, but when we go and we talk about the game, when we talk about the players. But the low is a conversation. Donna said, hello, bro. I've just been drinking in West Ham pub with my arms around a Brentford fan. Happy days, bro. Mate, in a West Ham pub. I used to live in Upton Park, my friend. So, you know, West Ham I've got a little soft spot for West Ham as well. Mate, it is interesting times. Look, today we've got to be pleased. I'd say Liverpool was a joyous occasion. Really, really happy. But today, man, today's game for me was just like, look, how can we get up for this game? And could we? And we did. And we went on and we won the game. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Great result. The referee's looking into our Josh. I mean, look, Welbeck took his free kick fantastically. What a free kick, right? I'm not disputing that. Was never a foul, was it? I did 3,099 in the Country Mail when I was 14. Mate, I mean, Martin. I mean, mate, what can I say? I can barely do. I was never a schools guy. I was always a sort of athlete kind of player. I mean, I can only dream. What's happening to Liverpool? Wayne's salary is so washed, even though he scored. You should visit Country Mayor, brother. Who's Wayne? No, Wayne is in the chat. He is a legend of the chat. Liverpool fan. Brilliant. Really, really good guy. You know, a Liverpool fan. Slot getting sacked in the morning. I can say you're having a better season than us, Wayne. And it happens like that. It does happen like that. You know, champions, and it's so difficult. You know, it is so difficult to win the league twice, especially in this league. But all I'm going to say, even if you have a bad season this season, you're still building for the future. Ten Hag is always the next pick. If United lost 5 games of the last 6, there will be tabloids saying Amorim should be sacked. Josh, whilst I do agree with that, Slot has got plenty of cash in the bank, hasn't he? I mean, he won the league. But look, we don't need to focus. We don't need to focus on that. What we do need to do is we need to focus on this game today. It's a bonus. It's a bonus that Liverpool lost. It's one game. But today, from our perspective, we controlled for the first time what we could control, and I thought we were great today. And Mbeumo is the difference man. I said 4-1-2-4-2 will do. Yeah. Wayne says very brave Brentford fan drinking in a West Ham pub. I agree with that. Only United and City can stop Arsenal. Zayn Mohammed. Hi, I'm a City fan. My name is Zayn. Hello, Zayn. United looks amazing. Thank you, Zayn. Zayn, welcome. What we love here on this channel is we do love rival fans. Absolutely no problem at all. Respect from from me to you. That's all this channel is about, is respect, my friend. Mummy Counter says, well, what do you think of Mbeumo performance against Brighton? Spoiler alert, Mbeumo is my man of the match. Cunha could have had it as well. I thought he was brilliant. I just think he's grown into this club. At the start of the pre-season when he played, he came in, didn't really have a pre-season. People were taking the mick out of him because he lifted up his shirt and he looked like he had a little bit of a tummy. Who's laughing now? And this is not a because we won a game. I'm pleased for the player. Who's laughing now? And this is what I say: be careful what you say yesterday, because tomorrow it can come back and smash you straight in the arse. West Ham fans have a great relationship with us. We're all united down there. Don't mute. I'm absolutely going to do this tonight. I'm here. Palace legend. Cunha and Mbeumo are world class. Second half was bad though. I thought second half was mixed. I thought we were comfortable. Until the free kick. And then that old little mindset starts to kick in. Roman says hi. When the whistle went, all hell broke loose, and Mbeumo is built differently. United team has a great attack. I was very impressed. Thank you, Zane. You won't be finishing 15th this season. I hope not. Mbeumo, what a player. Liverpool lost 3-2. They did. I don't want Cunha. I don't want Cunha to score first. I did say that, yes. So let's get on to the game. I want to know your opinions on the game today. So I thought that we started reasonably well. I didn't think we had the best or quickest of starts that we've always had. I thought Brighton actually looked really bright as well. And I thought for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I thought they was reasonably equal. I thought that again. I thought they got at us. I thought Mbeumo coming fast. United great. United were good in second half too. I'm scared going to the pub tomorrow to watch Palace v Arsenal. Don't, just have faith. Have faith tomorrow. So and I thought, is it what was his name? The striker, Maita. Or whatever his name is, the little dude. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he caused problems. I thought he caused Madrid versus Barcelona tomorrow. United fans are so hard to please. We can be at times, can't we? So I thought that Brighton played their part. John was still letting teams come out. That's too much. Mine. Agree. I thought that, I think the problem is that when we're trying to attack and we're trying to get a goal, I think our pivot, it doesn't work. The moment that we score a goal, we are more compact, and then I think that pivot works. So I think when we get the first goal and we're not trying to attack, I think the pivot works then. And then when we scored that goal, I thought we looked more compact and we looked better. I thought that they got a lot of joy a couple of times against Luke Shaw. I'm not necessarily going to go into him. I still don't think he's good enough for this team. I thought De Ligt today was fantastic. I thought Luke Shaw got caught a couple of times. Delot, I thought Delot is a conundrum for me. I thought he got caught out again a couple of times, and I'm not singling him out. I just thought that is the way that it is. That side, Delot and Luke Shaw down that side is our really weak point. Mirek7 says, hi, hello, my friend. I hope you're doing extremely well. Zane says, Lamens is a decent player. And I think you're right. I think Brighton, I think teams know that if they come at us early doors, I think that pivot doesn't work. So I thought Luke Shaw did reasonably well today. Luke Shaw for me is I there are certain parts of his game I like. There are certain parts that I don't know. Palace says Lemens, Shaw, Cunha, and Mbeumo were absolutely amazing. Interesting. I don't agree on Shaw. I don't. But I respect the opinion. I know people like Shaw, and that's fine. So I thought again. I thought we started the game equal, and then we kind of then pushed ahead. I thought Cunha, the way that he drives with the ball, I think is amazing. In Mbeumo, I think he causes so many problems, so many issues. Cunha, in Mbeumo, I thought they looked really great. Lads, looking at the league now, who are we scared of? No one. We're going to win the league. Look, I hope so. All I'm saying is I really hope so. Tulip says, why are we only leaving 2 defenders back from our corners? We're 3-0 up and need to keep a clean sheet. We need to play smarter from set pieces. Agree with you. I think we struggle. Set pieces, we absolutely struggle from set pieces. Nothing Lemens could really do. Could he have got a hand on that? I mean, Xerxes was at fault for that goal. Xerxes was at fault. How can somebody of that height and that build let somebody steal a march on him? But but you're right. I think we are bad at set plays. Ahmad is a great player. I love him. Agree. So I thought, and then we grew into the game. We scored the first goal. I thought Mbeumo scored. Cunha scored a great goal. And then again, Ahmad. Ahmad for me, Ahmad is so pleasing to see some of these players doing so well. Lemens, okay, did Lemens have the most amazing game? No, but I still thought he made some great saves. There was a shot whereby he just tipped it round the corner, and I do think that would have tipped in. He made a fantastic save. He made some great saves. I thought he was great again today. De Ligt for me, outside of Saliba, and Gabriel, I think he's growing into one of the league's best centre backs. I do. I think he's brilliant. I think he's so good. I think that I do. I just think the way that he commands himself, the way that he gives confidence. Yoro as well, the way he gives confidence to him. Yoro, I thought there was once or twice that he got caught out, but again, I thought he was brilliant. Again, I think those two today, I actually think they improve Luke Shaw. I thought Luke Shaw had a good game today. I thought he had a good average game today. And I think De Ligt and Yoro, having those two there, I think really help him out as well. Zane says, Ahmed is a great player. Hope United starts Kobe Manu in more matches. He's a start. I'll get on to that. I love to take Kobe at City. It's all about going out and trying to win the game, which we are failing at the moment. Van Dijk with a stupid penalty giveaway. God knows what he's thinking about. Haaland is a goal machine. He's really made me happy. Hines at Arsenal, really, yeah. I think that are we seeing Liverpool needed a centre back, right? They needed one completely. Are we seeing Van Dijk that shift now towards sort of the move towards the end of his career? I think Van Dijk needs somebody quicker around him as well. So I think. Are we seeing now the accumulation of games and injuries? Van Dijk is older. I think maybe we're starting to see, it happened to us. I think we're starting to see Liverpool, those stalwarts of those sides, Salah's, Van Dijk's, sort of coming now towards sort of back end of that career. And Liverpool, as much as they bought some great players, I think they're going to need to reinvest some of that into the centre back. So look, Haaland is a world-class striker. Haaland, if I had Haaland in my team, I would feel that I was going to win every single game. I think Haaland is great. Hainter at Arsenal, agree with you, DJ. I think agree with you. I think Hainter, was a great player. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? I know. Hainsey, was he a legend? No. Great player though. Football goes around in 20 periods. It's true. It does. So I think that the Cunha goal was taken extremely well. I thought settled us down, and then I thought we looked comfortable. Now Brighton still had a few shots. I thought Welbeck looked bright. The striker that they had up front as well looked bright. He terrorised us, I thought, at points. But I thought we controlled the game. I thought Casemiro had a pretty good game. I think when we're in control of a game, when we're not chasing a game, Casemiro is good. I thought he was good again today. He scored a goal. Again, I could be critical of these players, but Casemiro, I know it was a defective goal. Look, he scored a goal. I loved it. Right, I'm really pleased for him, and I thought he had a good game today. Bruno Fernandez, brilliant today. I'm one of his biggest critics on wherever he goes at the end of the season, whether he leaves, whether he stays or not. Today, that's what I want. That's what I want to see from him every single game. I think the last 3 games epitomises how Bruno has been. Bruno is very up and down, but when Bruno is on it, Bruno concentrates. He's not petulant, and he's bright. The team responds to him, and I thought he was great. I thought he was brilliant today. It's what I want to see from him. Every single game is what I want to see from him. Ahmad, I thought Ahmad again was brilliant. I like Ahmad. Wayne says, I remember Tony Adams. What a defender. I remember, Wayne, that Winterburn, Bold, Adams, Dixon, was it the FA Cup or something they won? And then Bold, and then somebody picked up Steve Bold and he broke his arm. Yeah. Great team. Donkey Adams. Unpopular opinion, I don't want belabor. Scott, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny. Wasn't impressed. I still think he's worth a look. Not at 100 million. There is no way. Not at 105 million. He's no Casido, right? But all I'm saying is that I wouldn't really amount just yet for me, but he's not a £100 million player. So I think my focus, I'm with you, Scott. I would focus on Stieler and Anderson. Those 2 are the ones for me. Zane says Bruno Fernandez is very underrated. I don't think he is, Zane, mate. I don't think he is. I think what Bruno is very, very divisive. Look, people, I appreciate him, but he's definitely not underrated. He's not my friend. He reminds me of Kevin De Bruyne. Well, look, that's I think they're both different players. Those 2 get compared all of the time. De Bruyne for me is better, I think, but numbers. Hussein, United. This could be your best season for years. Wayne, I bloody hope so. I do, mate. I do. I really, our last second place finish was Ollie, right? So I'm really hoping. I'm really hoping that we can be. Look, Champions League for me is a great aim. Let's see what happens. With the Bruno question, and press missed this. Bruno said the club told me they didn't need the money. Stay, the rest will be history. And that is exactly. We said this in the summer on here. Is that apparently United said that they didn't need the money. So we need to bear that in mind, because if United don't need the money, then where is the money coming from for signings? But so I thought the first half, I thought we were great. I really enjoyed it. Casemiro's goal was great. It settled us down. We came out. Second half, I thought much of the same. I thought Brighton again. Brighton always look bright. They always look bright. They always look like they can do something. I think the way that Brighton play, They either look like they're going to spank you or look like they're going to get spanked. But this is the Premier League. This is the Premier League. You cannot write any team off. So, Martin says, great show, John. Keep up the good work. Thank you, my friend. Legend, as always, Martin. So thank you, my friend. So again, we got the third goal. Mbeumo, what I love about those two, him and Cunha up front, is that they constantly work. They're a pest. Teams are constantly under threat. Ahmad on that side. I just wish we had a foil for Cunha. I just wish that, Dorgu, don't get me wrong, Dorgu is a young player. I think we still need to buy an experienced left wing back. I'd love an Ahmad on that side. Ahmad as well. I'm so impressed with Ahmad. One of the shows that I did, I said that if we're not going to use Ahmad, then I would potentially sell Ahmad, only on the basis that if we're not going to use him, I don't want him to leave for free, and I don't want a talented kid to just sit there, right? Ahmad's brilliant. Ahmad, I'm so impressed with him. I think he's brilliant. So down that side, I think it's locked in, and I think he's brilliant. So he scores, and then of course, then what happens? Referee. Let's have a look before I go there. So proud of my club. Would you still get rid of Bruno? Wayne, I am consistent, and I'm not one of these flip-flop people. I want Fernandez gone. I know he's doing the job. He's playing well. Well, he's played well for 3 games. I still think that Bruno should be gone. At 31 years old, 32, if you can get money for him, I think that we should reinvest that now. And, people are good. And I'm not going to argue with people that don't want Bruno Fernandez to go. But for me, I think that I would just rebuild this side now. All I am going to say, and I think people's opinions, get, because I'm going to be consistent, right? I'm going to be consistent. There are reasons why I would get him, irrespective of how well he plays this season. And what I find about Fernandez, for me, is that depending on how he plays, so let's just say, no, he's played good today. Liverpool, he was all right. The moment that Bruno starts to do the same old things again, I think people will start to switch around and say that we should have sold him. If, for example, Bruno this season we get 4th, 3rd place, then I will concede and I'll say, should we have sold him for the money? Yes. But then sometimes if it means keeping him and we finish 2nd, then should we have sold him based on that? No. So I think you need to pick your lane, and I'm picking my lane. And my lane was at start of the season was that I would have sold him. Would I sell him at this point? No, because I think we need consistency. But if there's an offer in the summer for £100 million for him, would I take that? Yes. Would I take the 56.86 million? No. I'd rather keep him for that. But if there's an offer on the table for £100 million, would I take it for him? Yes. Do I think he should leave? No. If he's going to play well for the next 2, 3, 4 years, fine, keep him. But if there is an opportunity for £100 million to sell him, I would sell him. But I completely respect the opinion that people want him to stay. Go through some of these chats. As Zane says, we Man City have Cherky, who's a skillful player who really is like. Happy to finally see this front 3 start in the Prem and show how good they are. Bro, what do you think about Victor Osimhen? I think he's brilliant. I do. I like him a lot. I wish we could have got him. I think in this side, Osimhen would be lethal. But Shasko, I'm reasonably happy. You could find a replacement Fernandez in Arda Güler. Yes, but I think he'd be a lot of money. Too much for us. Keep Bruno for another year at least. Ahmed, dare I say, it reminds me of a quicker George Best. I'm not entering that debate, my friend. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Ahmad is fantastic. Ahmad is not George Best, the same as Giggsy was not George Best. Ahmad is Ahmad. I want Ahmad to be Ahmad. But I get what you're saying. But I want Ahmad to be Ahmad. Get Kane in. Interested. Harry's having the time of his life. HDC. John, if Roy Keane would have stayed with the Republic of Ireland squad in 2002, we could have made the quarterfinals. Agreed. Yashin says, I think we have to buy Victor Osimhen from Galatasaray. Not going to happen, mate. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's not the value. It's the wages. It's not going to happen. Walter Mitty, centre forward. Ireland nearly beat Spain. Yep. Can we demote Deloy? We can't, mate. We can't. Keane walked out of Ireland because of the training pitches. He did. Wise fan said, good evening, 4th place at last. Exactly. Look, we're 4th place tonight, right? And I'll go through the match again. I'll go through the match some more. I'll go through the players, but we won. I mean, I think it's true. I think sometimes as fans, we can go through this team, and I'm not going to be too harsh. I'll say it like as it is, but we won again. We can't always win pretty. Not everybody's going to be consistent. Not everybody's going to be the best player at every time, but we won today. I agree. United won the World Cup. I remember that. Won the World Cup, the World Club Cup in '99 in Tokyo. I watched that. Was it? I can't remember. Was it Vasco da Gama? I think we beat. Was it Vasco da Gama that we beat in the final? Rodrigo would be. He would be, but I think he'd be too expensive. Sewell says, "Sup? What's up, my friend?" When you get tongue-tied, it's a good question. No, it's true because you've got to think on your feet, right? And no, it's true. It's true because it's an interesting question. You're so handsome. Thank you. I've been called worse. Appreciate it. What do you think of Yildiz at Juventus? I think he's very, very good. I do. I think he's great. Maybe Keane was used to the perfect training facilities. Yes. Indeed, he did. You're so handsome. Thank you. Cool. Thank you. We have lost too many good players under the Klopp years. Agreed. Look, Klopp was very much like Fergie in terms of he knew his side and he knew how to get the best out of that team. The players that he had, like Fabinho, he brought Gakpo in, which I thought was a good signing. Very, very lucky with Salah. Very, very lucky, with the defenders, the goalkeeper, and that sort of stuff. Milner as well. I mean, fantastic. Origi as well. He just knew his players, and I think that Slot is sometimes you don't always have to spend top money to get the best players, and I think have Liverpool this season try to play FIFA. And what I mean is that have they just tried to go, we're going to get the best of the best, spend a bunch of money, and that rarely works out. So I wonder if Liverpool have only made a mistake this season on the basis that they've tried to go and play FIFA, and when actually you didn't need to do that. You've got a fan base now, man. What can I say? They've obviously got good taste. I'm kidding. We've got to get rid of the Brighton curse, shot down of the goals, but Liverpool have now been stung by the bees. They were beaten that year in Brazil. How are we doing, guys? Liam, legend of the chat. Liam, I love Liam in here. Liam always keeps me honest. Slot is getting Amorim slander. I think Osimhen better than Haaland. I don't agree with that. Verts is a waste of money. Haaland is better than Osimhen. I think so. I can't tell you when West Ham fans in my pub were singing about Slot. Hilarious. So going back to the game. So we scored the third goal and then the free kick. And Mbeumo scored on Anfield before Verts. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's try and be kind to Wayne though. Wayne, who comes in here, by the way, give Wayne massive respect. Legend. Wayne is saying that Verts isn't worth the money. Ruben Amorim tactics are working really well. But Zane, this wasn't the case, my friend. But it's nice to see that some of the things he's employing are now starting to work. So we got the third goal, and then I thought the referee had a shocker. Watch Champions League for Osimhen. You're going to see. I watched the Osimhen goal. I thought it was good. I think they're good at home. But Galatasaray are not very good away from home. I think you're very, very, very good at home. I think Galatasaray's weakness is going away from home. I think if you can win games away from home, I think you've got a good squad. Crazy how people switch sides. If we lose the next one, people say Amorim out. Agree with you. Agree completely. We have a new fab, 4 Lamens in Mbeumo, Cunha and Shesko. Osimhen plays in a different league, which is different to the Premier League. He does. Be kind to everyone apart from Liverpool. DJ. Be kind to Wayne, though, okay? Wayne is a good guy, isn't he? Wayne is a legend of this chat. So Wayne is brilliant. So be good to Wayne. Wayne is a ledge. So I thought referee wasn't great. They got a free kick. Welbeck, I think took it well. I can't work out whether Lamens could have done a bit more to save it. I just thought Welbeck struck it hard. I thought Welbeck just scored a great free kick. And then, of course, what happens then we start to capitulate a little bit. I think we've got PTSD a little bit. They come back into it again, and I think on the watch long, I think Scott basically said, and a couple of you said, look, we should be attacking this game. I think we look better when we're attacking. I think we make teams think about it. And then I think what didn't help us is that we made substitutes. Who came on? We had Dorgu came on, Mainu came on, Ugarte came on, and Xerxes came on as well. I thought that sort of Xerxes didn't come on to it later on, but I thought making all those changes slightly imbalanced the team. They got a corner. Brighton scored from the corner. Xerxes should have picked up his man. But then what I then liked, Brighton were going for it. And then what I then liked is we didn't sit back. We then went forward. And we got the fourth goal. So again, we're starting to see these different scenarios, and we're starting to come through them. Yes, we were 3-0 up, comfortable. I think we were like having a chat, and then they basically come back into it. We're at the moment we're not perfect, and I think we're always going to give a team a chance, and whether or not can we outscore them. I think personally is the name of the game on that one. And then I thought in the end, 4-2, I predicted an uncomfortable 3-1 win. I said before the match, I thought that we would have a 3-1 flattering win. It was a 4-2 win. Do I think 4-2 flattered us? Not really. I thought that we were good. I thought we deserved it, to be honest. The only thing that concerns me is still the amount of goals that we concede. But I will take a win. A win is a win is a win, right? Be kind to everyone. Liam says, to be fair, when Liverpool signed Verts, we were all thinking he was a lot of money, but we didn't think he was a bad player. Verts is not a bad player. He is not a bad player. It frustrates me so much that I know when you pay that amount of money for a player, you've got to expect a world-class player. It's going to take him time. Liverpool, for everything they did for Jota, yeah, Osimhen plays in the Champions League. No, I'm all right. Doesn't bother me. Welbeck had to score. He always does. Wells hit so well that the ball. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, agreed. I think that Welbeck had. It was a great free kick. We can't question Lamens for that. No, look, Liam. I look when I'm talking through this sort of stuff. Um, I talk through it, and ultimately, do I think that was Lamens' fault? No. The fact he nearly got like a hand to it, and in fact, one of the saves he made in the second half, where he managed to sort of tip the ball around goalpost, I think that could have crept in. Lamens is brilliant. I have seen a couple of things where people are questioning Lamens, and I'm just like, let's not start all that. I thought Lamens again was great today. 4-2, it was cinema. Happy for Danny. He's an ex-United boy. Thankfully, we won. When the score was 3-2, I thought we were going to bottle it. 4-2 wasn't flattening. Exactly, Liam. And that's exactly what I just said, is that I thought we'd go for a 3-1 flattening win, that we would win 3-1, but maybe they'd have their chances. I thought that we deserved the 4-2 today. Jordan Stream says, yeah, I don't know what that is, mate. No idea. United Strand is jumping up and down his bedroom. What is your reaction on the free kick goal? I think Welbeck scored a great free kick. I thought Lamens did well to even get sort of some fingertips to it. I just think it was a really well struck free kick that shouldn't have been one. But nice, but we need to keep it going. Cunha had a break to break his duck eventually, so let's see more goals from him. Who does we play? Forest next away. Spurs is the game after. What I can say is run Forest. I hope so. So, yeah. So I'll go through the team. I'll give you my scores. Ratings out of 10, 6 being the average score. So 6 meaning that they had an average game. Lamens, I thought Lamens was good. I thought Lamens is so comfortable. I thought he made some good saves. I don't think at all he was at fault for the free kick. Wasn't at fault for the corner. The way he watches the ball, the way that he, there was one save that he made where he tipped it round the corner. 7.5 today. I think 7. 7.5. Can't argue with that. I thought Lamens was good today. He gives confidence. I like him a lot. I think he's a fantastic player. Delo, what do I think about him today? Now, I'm not good. Look, today is about we won a game. I'm not going to go in on these players, and I think we all know what some of these players are, right? So for me today, Delo I would give him 5.5, generous 6. I'd give him maybe a slightly under average performance, 5.5, 6, maybe at a push because we won. It is the same old problems, the same old issues. We all know who he is, and I just think that needs to be fixed. I think this is a conversation for another game. If we had lost today, we'd be having a different conversation. But I think we won today. Keep it positive as we can. 5.5, 6 at the most. You could argue average, under average. For me, must improve, and I think that's a position that we need to look at in the summer. Luke Shaw is always a bone of contention for me, because there are things that I see him do, and maybe I focus too much on him. I thought today he had one of his better games. I 6.5, 7 today. I thought that Damon, good evening. I'd give Luke Shaw a steady 6.5, 7. I thought he was above average today. I thought he had a decent game. He still gets beaten for pace a lot. I think teams still target that side of the pitch. Yeah, I agree. If 6 is averaging, Delo had an average Delo game. Exactly. And this is why it's it's so hard to judge, right? So I agree with you. I think if you're talking about that's a good point. But I'm talking about an average game, right? So I think you could give him a 6. An average game for him in terms of a normal average is probably about a 5, right? But I think today, just look, the team won on a roll. He's going to play, I think, an average 6. Luke Shaw was definitely better, so I think it's only fair that I think he was probably a point better. So you could argue a 7, 6.5, 7. I thought he was good today. Luke Shaw is look who he is. I think you like him or you don't. I just think today he had a good game, 7. De Ligt for me again is an 8. An 8. I just rate him a lot. I do. I'm a United fan till I die, but I grew up in a bit of Nottingham. Oh dear. You're not Goldbridge, are you? Are you Goldbridge in disguise? Figured it out. Figured it out, my friend. DJ, figured it out. That is who you are. Kidding, my friend. Wayne says Dyche is a good manager, but I think you get a result. Haven't played reasonably well. So De Ligt for me, again, he's so composed, so calm. I think he spreads confidence. Him and Lemens, I think, are brilliant. Yoro, I'd give him a 7.5 towards an 8. Just brilliant. There was a couple of times I would probably drop Yoro a little bit, 7.5, just because I just think there were a couple of times today where I just think he looked a little bit rusty. But I still think he's brilliant. Ahmad for me, I like Ahmad a lot. I'd give him an 8 as well. 7.5, 8 for Ahmad. I like him. He just makes me smile. What I love about Ahmad, what I love about him so much, is that when we bought him, there was a question mark over who is he, right? And then he went on a couple of loans, came back. He's been in and out of this team. He doesn't moan, doesn't whinge. He's been asked to play as a fucking wing back. Look at him thrive. I just love this kid. I think he's brilliant. So I'd give him an 8. Before I go on to the next ones, let's go see what we're saying. Shane Mount and Maguire was injured. I think it helped us today. I do. I think it helped us today. The thing with Dalot is he's all the attributes to be a great player, but on the pitch can be such. I think you're right. I think you're right. Ahmad's touch is nasty. I love Ahmad. I really do. What would you do if you did win the Premier League? I don't know, mate. Give me some suggestions about what I can do if we win the Premier League, because I can't even envisage it right now. I'll do something. I don't know what I would do, but I'll do something. Give me suggestions and I'll do something. I don't know what I'll do, but I will. I thought Casemiro today was, I think, getting that goal early doors, him scoring. I think there was an assist in there as well. Stand on my head, celebrate big time. I'll do something. I don't know what I'll do. I'll do something. I mean, I'll do something on here. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something. Prince says, hi, hello, Prince. I hope you're doing extremely well this evening. So I would give Casemiro, I'd give him a 7 today. Again, I always feel like he's got a mistake in him. You could argue a 7.5, but I think he gets his goal. I think he's, as somebody said on the watch along today, is that he's won 4 Champions Leagues, right? And as Liam said there, I think Liam is spot on. Scott says, I believe we'll win the next 4 games. Scott, I really, really hope so, my friend. I think Liam's right. Casemiro did well for 60 minutes, and I think that's who he is. 60 minutes of him gets us through the season. I thought for 60 minutes, I thought he did reasonably well. You know who he is. I do think he's getting not getting better, but I think the team is used to what he is now there, and I think he's comfortable in there in situations. And I thought it was a 7 today. You could argue a 7.5. Again, really critical of him, but when he has games like that, put him in the team. Like I would celebrate these players when they do well. I celebrated his goal. I was so pleased for him. Obviously, I think it goes down as an own goal, doesn't it? But brilliant today. I mean, so happy for him today. Fernandez for me today, I'd give Fernandez an 8 as well. I thought Fernandez today was brilliant. What if we could get that performance out of him every single week? All I want from him today. I mean, some of the touches he did today, some of the play we saw today, it was the Bruno Fernandez of old. What a performance today. When Bruno plays like that, I want him to stay forever. But it's so few and far that some of the things he did today were brilliant. And the fact he's playing as an 8 when he's a 10, I just applaud it. I do. When you're asking somebody who's always been a number 10 to play that number 8 and have a captain's performance today, that's what it was, and that's what I want to see. And I'd celebrate that. I would still sell him. I'm adamant on that, unless I would still sell him as long as we had the right offer. If we don't keep him, because you can't replace that. And if he keeps playing well in this number 8 and he starts to become a number 8, keep him. I mean, based on today, I mean, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. So I'd give him an 8 as well. Cunha, I'd give him an 8. 8 again. I love what he does. I love it. He's just the way he picks the ball. I mean, there was one when I think it was on our right hand side, and he went to the ground and he was on the floor and he got the ball and he got back up again, or he lost the ball, he came back, he won the ball. I mean, you can't buy that. That's something you either have in you or you don't. And Cunha has that, and I love the fact he's so different to everyone else as well. So I'd give him an 8. So Mbeumo today, my man of the match. I'd give him an 8.59. I wouldn't give him a 10. But I would give him an 8.5, 9. Again, he's so different to Cunha, and I love that. He offers you something different. He gives you something different. And when you're talking about those two opponents, because they're not the same type of player, opponents don't know what the hell to do with these two players. And Cunha today was a threat, direct, powerful, with Ahmad on that side as well. They complement each other so well. And I don't think opponents know what to do. So for me, man of the match. Šeško didn't have his best game today. I thought he could have done. It's one of those games today where I think the two number 10s were so good that you almost didn't need Šeško. Šeško's always good as a foil. He's always good to win those headers, little touches. He still looks really, really bright, but I don't think they needed him today. So no fault of his own today. I'd give him a 6. And you could argue lower. Let's just say if we'd have lost that today, Šeško would probably be a 5. But I'd argue Šeško today was a 6.5. We won a game. Wasn't really in it too much. He had a shot which I thought he could have done better on the shot. But again, Bright, just great today. Substitution came on. Mainly did a couple of good things, but Manu's not on for long enough. Manu's not on for long enough to do anything, and he's chomping at the bit to get on. I thought he lost the ball a couple of times. He's still good with the ball at his feet, but I just think that he's just, unless he gets a run of games, I don't know what he's supposed to do. Ugarte came on and looked bright. I thought he gave the ball away once, I thought twice. But again, he looked fine, came on, so Manu, give him a 6. Ugarte, give him a 6. Dorgu, there are question marks over him. I'm not going to go too much into that. I think he's just a young player. He's inconsistent. I still think we need an experienced wing back, and then Dorgu can learn from them. So Dorgu, he's very young. I think there's a place for him here. I just think that we need a more experienced left wing back to teach him. Xerxes. Right, I'm giving Xerxes a 7, right? And the reason, I was going to give him a 7, but I'll give him a 6.5 because the corner goal was his fault, right? I would have given him a 7 because that piece of skill that he did when he was on the floor and he stuck his leg out and he got that ball and he spun it round was ridiculous. And then there was another piece of skill that he did was sublime. I would have given him a 5. I would have given him a 5. I would have given him a 5.5, 6. No, I would have given him a 5.5, because basically he should have picked up his man from the corner. But I'm giving him an extra mark because that thing that he did on that floor was unbelievable. The guy is crazy. Bro, you asked me about Goldbridge. This happened in your mods. Well, brother, I have actually asked Goldbridge about how close we are in our teams. He never got back to me. I'm not Goldbridge. Look, mate, I'm kidding, mate. If your mods, will, brother, I've actually asked Goldbridge how close we are in our teams. He never got back to me. Interesting. If someone asked you 9 games in, you'd be above Liverpool at the beginning of the season, what would you have said? I would have said no. I predicted 8 points from 8. Like, I'm not going to lie. I don't flip flop. I own the things that I say. I've been surprised. As much as I believed in this coach, I didn't believe in these players. Like, we finished 15th last season, right? I knew we weren't going to go down. I thought we'd have an improvement. I thought we'd be very, very up and down. I am so pleased for the coach and some of these players as well, but I'm pleased for the manager because it shows what happens when you give a manager time. Some of these players, we've asked, and people have accused Amorim, and I've mentioned it as well, that who has Amorim improved? Right? Where are the people that Amorim's improved? Right? The fact that Luke Shaw, despite what I think about Luke Shaw, other people love Luke Shaw. The fact that he's getting back into this side and people think he's playing well, right? Bruno Fernandez, whether I like it or not, the last 3-4 games he's been moved back into that number 8 role and he's been playing well. Casemiro, we can't improve Casemiro, but Casemiro's been okay. Ahmad. If you're looking for a bright spark in that team, Ahmad. Right? He's improved Ahmad. Cunha, etc. You can't really improve those. They've not really been here that much, and they are their own players. But I would never have thought that. And it's testament to the manager and testament why I believe in this coach. Then we go second, third point of Arsenal. I'm more Adam forever. Yeah, I like Adam. He seems like a good. I do quite like Adam. I think he just seems like a normal guy. He's obviously a passionate guy, season ticket holder as well. So legend. So yeah, I think he's a good guy. DJ, it was a super chat, because if you wasn't to get zero chance of him answering you. Exactly, Scott, and that's what we do on here. I think that's what we do extremely well on here. Is even though they're super chats, all that sort of stuff on here, I will always try to read out your chats. Bruno was exceptional. Yeah, Liam, I agree. I thought Bruno today was brilliant. Really, really pleased with him today. Sheska, I'd give him a 6.5 or 7. Omar Barada, nonsense. Scott, I wasn't disliked social media. I have a 0 footprint, but I wasn't surprised. Being a DJ, sometimes frame grabs you. I'd still sell Bruno. Yes, Scott, I would still sell Bruno, but it has to be for the right amount of money. I totally agree. Bruno was great today. However, if you were up against it, he's liable to switch off from runners, and that's where we are with him. He is who he is. I think that Fernandez is a very divisive player. On his day, he can be world class. He can also be toilet. But I do think that if Bruno is not going to be used as a 10 and we get a bunch of money for him, I think that we need to start again and we purge. But Bruno is that conundrum, isn't he? We need an actual CM. I agree. Scott, anyone impressed with Belieber today? Hell no. I still like Belieber. I still think that there's a player in him. But again, as I said at the start of the show, credit to the footballing side of this club on signing Mbeumo and Cunha. Right. Also credit, as it appears now, they didn't sign Belieber, because 105 million quid, you fuck right off. So as the season is progressing, and as I say, it's so difficult to judge a transfer window. You can semi-judge a transfer window on the business that you do, right? But then as the season progresses, that's when you can then start to tweak and say, actually, I think maybe last window was a 5 or a 6. I think I scored it a 4. I would go and say now, I would say this transfer window was probably, I'd put it up at the moment to a 5.5. Because if you look at the players that we signed, Lamens on his own, Lamens, that signing, which a couple of us, including me, was like, we want this goalkeeper. To go and sign him, credit, and you look at how transformative that's been. So Mbeumo was a good signing. He's fitted in well, I agree. Mbeumo's a baller. Mainu, holy fall off. It's really hard with Mainu. I'm so happy today we won again. Shesko needs a bit more time. Yeah, I mean, the way that we're playing, I don't think always suits him, but he'll keep going, and I think he'll be brilliant. Damon says not buying Blade, but is a blessing in disguise. Possibly. Shesko Sepp and Mbeumo with a gorgeous touch. In my opinion, that means he gets a 7. Liam, mate, no issue there at all. I thought look, Shesko's always a danger, Liam. I think you're right. I think what I like about Shesko is he's always a danger. He's got a good touch. He brings the ball down. There's always a shot. There's always some sort of output, right? When he's not in a game, and what I mean is when he's not scoring goals, he can always add something to a game, and that's why I like Shesko. I mean, I would still give him a 6.5, but again, just like Xerxes for me, probably would have been a 5.5. I'd give him an extra point or so just because of that pure skill. So again, no issue there. Oh dear, the menu in the room. I feel bad for the lad. I'm not having Xerxes getting a higher rating than Shesko. No. Look, I think that you're right. I would still right. I would go Xerxes. For me, I'd go Xerxes 6, and I'd go Shesko 6.5. You can argue a 7. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna disagree with you on that one. I'd go Shesko 6.5. You give him a 7. I'd go Xerxes 5.5, 6. That piece of skill for me was just someone else. High lucky hockey locking horns again. We have Forest next. So who would you start for the game? I think I'd go with the same team. I do. I wouldn't put Delo in. If Mazraoui's back, I think I'd put Mazraoui in. If I'm honest, Martinez is not going to be back, so I'd play. The only other play I forgot to mention is Heaven as well. By the way, Heaven steady 6. It was nice. It's nice to see Heaven come on. It really is nice to see him come on. I'd give him a 6. But I just can't see him playing a lot of games. We have Forest next, so who would you start for that game? I'd go for the same team. I don't think Mason Mount should walk back into that team, and this is what I was hoping for with Cunha reaction. Mason Mount started Cunha. There seemed to me to be this thing whereby it was Mason Mount or Cunha. And I think we need Shesko up front. And I think that why should Mason Mount get back into this side? I think Cunha is trying to lock that place down. So you either play. So for me, at the moment, it's either Mount or Shesko. And what I mean is that either then Cunha goes into the striker position and Mason Mount plays in the 10, or Mount doesn't play. I think that's where I'm at on that one. You had to finally turn the corner, or was it just too premature? I think that, is it premature? Have we turned a corner? I think we've turned some sort of corner. It is not the end. Right, I think we can get a momentum together. I think we've turned a corner? Look, it's difficult to say. I think there is something there. I think there's something there. But we won 3 games, and people will say, and I'm tempted to say, it's only 3 games. But then again, the Sunderland game, it was only 1 game. Liverpool game, we've only won 2 games. Today, it's only 3 games. Now, if we get to Forest, it's only 4 games. And if we get to Spurs, it's 5 games. So, I think what we're doing is words like we're back, turning the corner. For me, I'm going to save those for a couple of games' time. Let's get through Spurs, and let's get through the next game first. Let's get through that game. And then once we've done that, let's get through Spurs, and then see where we are. Christmas time. Okay, if we get to Christmas time, when we go into the new year, still winning most games, the odd loss, the odd draw, like here and there, and we're up and around that 5th to 7th place. Sorry, 4th to 7th. Then I'll absolutely say 100% that we've turned a corner. But I think we're just a tiny bit too early. I've said top 5, but if we win the next 4, the second great 50th birthday present from United. Happy birthday, John O'Connell, my friend. Massive birthday, 50th birthday, the big 50. It always surprises me when people say to you, congratulations on your birthday. I almost feel like it's like, congratulations that you're still alive. But no, mate, many happy birthdays. 50s is a massive number. Not to bring you down or anything, but mate, amazing. Has Maguire improved? I don't think Maguire's improved as a player. I think mentality he has. when you get to Maguire's age, look, you can't improve, right? You can improve mentally, I think. Maguire knows what he is. I know what he is. The club knows what he is, and I think Maguire has embraced that. So I think Maguire has improved as a person. I think maybe is he tactically a little bit more aware? I don't know, but I think there are certain aspects that he has improved. I've said this before. Amorim has changed his system. He's changed the way he plays the system. Or am I brain dead? No, I think I hear all this talk, but what about? I am not getting drawn into Rashford, Liam. Not tonight. This is not the Rashford show. We're not doing that tonight. No way. No way, Jose. I'm sticking in this club. I know you are, Liam. I know you are, my friend. I know you are, Liam. DJ says, sorry, crap. Predictive text. Amorim hasn't changed his system. He's changed the way he plays his system. Yeah, I think he's adapted. I do. I think he's adapted. It's not always going to work, but I do think he has adapted. Joey says, Australia. I'm not. No, I'm from the UK. If I do sound Australian, g'day, mate. G'day, my friend. Spending the whole window on Mbeumo was worth it. He's finally fitted in. And this is what I mean about a transfer window. It's so difficult to judge because you spend all time signing a player, and then was it worth it? Possibly. Just think Champions League football gives us an extra 100 million to play with in the summer. Big win today, mate. Sebastian, huge win today, my friend. The wife has turned up with a Thai curry. I'm doomed. I wish my wife would turn up with a curry, my friend. Never does. The only thing that my wife turns up with is that look of disappointment. I'm kidding, by the way. It looks like the Amorim project is actually paying off. Exactly. Sebastian, let's have a good laugh at Liverpool and Chelsea. Louis says, I'm at war. Louis Eastwood, who are you at war with, my friend? Give me a shout. DJ says, I like it 3 chilies hot. I went to a Thai place. So I went away for work 2-3 weeks ago, and I went to this Thai place, and it had that. It had 3 chilies hot. Wasn't hot at all, mate. Was not hot at all. I do like it hot, like spicy, but there's a limit, right? Shesko, every little helps. Don't read name. Where are you from? I'm from the UK. I'm from Essex. Bacon butty. Anyone? Oh, I do love a bacon butty. I'd play Euro. Not sure. Euro play today. I think the Luke Shaw spot is up for debate. I think we need another centre back. I'd say I'd rather play Heaven, but again, I don't know for me. You can't play Maguire there because the Lip plays there, but I don't know. I would like to get another centre back. I'd rather have an Ian Drury and the Blockheads ready to be cheerful part 1. It's a great point, but the cool thing is now we have a legitimate competition for places. Exactly, Liam. We do. As much as I do question these players, right, and you sort of know this, I've got a stick up my arse about Luke Shaw and whatever else. But all I'm saying right now is that it's a bit like a car. It's a bit like a temperamental car that only you know how to work. And Amorim seems to be making this work. So where I will concede on Luke Shaw is that, look, he's getting in this team when we're winning games. So would I change him? Probably not. I think right now you go with a winning team, right? So I'd go Lemens, Luke Shaw, Delict, Yoro, Ahmad, and Delo for me would be the one I'd take out. But other than that, I think I'd go there just on the basis that we've won the last 3 games, and Amorim seems to know how to use those players, and the fact that Luke Shaw's playing games, I mean, it's a marvel. We still have a few old scores to settle against Spurs from last season. I bloody agree with you on that one. Forest is winnable for you guys. Let's both Forest and Spurs will be real tests. I do agree with you. It's a good feeling being above Liverpool tonight. Exactly, and tonight, look, let's take these small wins. Right, we were getting pelters. Grimsby, I was on here. We watched the Grimsby game. I put myself through it. Many of you have put yourself with me as well. And, you know, those dark days, and they were absolutely shocking. City was shocking. We've got 3 wins on the bounce. Let's bloody enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. You know, let's celebrate tonight. Let's praise these players. You know, let's praise Luke Shaw tonight. You know, let's praise Ahmad, Lemens tonight. You know, Shesko. Let's give these players praise, because I just think that the more praise you give them, the more confidence it can only help them, right? So tonight, and I toast them tonight. Well done tonight. I think brilliant game. You've won 3 games, lads. 3 games on the bounce. You've been absolutely smashed all season. Grimsby, you know, was a defeat, and you got absolutely toasted by everybody. And now you've gone, F this. The manager is here to stay. We're going to do something. And all I can do tonight is congratulate the whole team, and more so Amorim, especially tonight, because I just think that the shit that he's had to put up with, the shit that these players put up with as well, most of it is off of their own back, and I'm by no means letting any of them off the hook, and that includes the coach as well. But to go through all that and then come up with 3 wins on the bounce, it's got to be applauded tonight, and we've got to be happy with that tonight. The City ground is always full. It's a mini Old Trafford. Yeah, it is. Love my Forest brothers. Be lucky if we get top 4 the way we're playing at the moment. Yeah, look, Wayne, I mean, Liverpool. I've not watched any of the Liverpool fan channels tonight. I might tune in and just have a little look. But I bet you tonight they'll be all screaming and shouting, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, went above you by what point? You've just gone and lost, 4 out of the last 5 games, but you're still in touch and distance. You've still got Isaac, you've still got Wirtz, you've still got Szoboszlai, you've still got Ekitike, McAllister, Van Dijk, Wirtz, Kirkes. I mean, Liverpool are going to come good. I just think it's patience. Lol, we weren't there last night. No, Rashford. We're not talking about it tonight. That's Liam's fault. I love curry. I do. No, I'm not a big fan of curry. I don't like curry necessarily, but I like a Thai curry. I predicted 6 from our next 2 games. Look, wise, I'm all for it. But I do, Wayne. So do I. But a mild lamb or beef, not chicken. I would sign 3 players in Jan window and sell 4. The only thing for me, wise, about that is that if we're winning games, I don't want to. And this sounds like completely different, right, to what I've said before. I think that we need a midfielder. I think we might need a midfielder or 2. I would. It's difficult. I think we need at least another midfielder. But whilst this team's doing okay, I wouldn't get in 3 players. I just think it would disrupt this team. I would go get a backup striker, and I'd get a lone striker, and then I'd go and get a midfielder, either a Stieler or a loan, and then I'd wait till the summer. Only because I just think that Amorim's got this team playing now, and I just think that do we want to disrupt it? Lamb curry is all right. Reasons to be cheerful. Part 1. Wayne can't eat chicken though. Happy with Hayden Heaven. Man, I love lamb curry. I was in West Ham pub with my arms around a Brentford fan, best friends. I hope Shaw doesn't celebrate too much. He doesn't want to get injured. Exactly. I'd be wrapping him up in cotton wool. I congratulate our new medical team. Honestly, right, with Luke Shaw, it is a medical miracle. I don't know what they've done to him, irrespective of how he plays. The fact that he's playing games, I don't know. I really don't know. The one thing that will piss me off more than anything else in this fucking world, Luke Shaw did an interview. I don't know if it was with the United stand or whether it was another channel, basically saying that he reckons that we can win the league. If we win the league, fucking hell. Fergie must be happy tonight too. City going to win tomorrow. Jay, welcome, my friend. Let's see what happens. Elijah says United. DJ Bobby Charlton must be smiling. I hope so, mate. If Liverpool lose again, 10 slot can be worried. You're still playing better than us at the moment. You lose 4 Prem games on the bounce, it will start to affect the players. Morale will be low and there'll be confidence will be shot. We need another keeper. Left wing back, right wing back, and a CM on wicket. Yeah, I like Ahmad there though. I do like Ahmad. I would be happy right now with a right wing back as Ahmad. I think I would like an experienced left wing back in the next window and a centre midfielder. But then we can have that conversation in the summer. But then what do we do with Ahmad? Vitek, what are we saying about getting another veteran striker in? We have been linked to Lewandowski, Kane in the past few days. Yes, we have been. I think I would like somebody like a Tony. The problem with Lewandowski for me, I would sign him on 2 caveats. Number 1, he would have to come in knowing that he's second to Šeško, as crazy as that sounds, on the basis that I don't want to disrupt Šeško. If Lewandowski came to the club and becomes so good and starts scoring goals and forces Šeško out of the team, then that's a different story. He would come here on the proviso that he's got to train these strikers up as well, right? He's got to come in, teach Šeško. OB is, and imagine OB learning from him, Šeško learning from him as well. But also his wages would have to be reasonable. He's gonna want Lewandowski for me just wants another payday. So I don't think that's going to happen. Harry Kane, would I take Harry Kane if he got to the Champions League? 100%. I like Šeško. Šeško is the future, and I think that Šeško will still be okay. If we got Harry Kane for 2 or 3 seasons with Šeško, and just imagine if we're back in the Champions League, the league, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, we're going to need 2 strikers. So would I get Kane? I would get Kane. But that's just me. It's hard to believe we played under Jose and he's still with us. It's true. As long as we can keep Lamens in goal and then we win the next 2 games, put Binder in goal and go backwards. Yeah, Binder's not going to get back in. Are we like Maguire as our striker? No. Not for me. Not for me. So, guys, on that note, I am going to go. Amazing win today. Look, as I've said before, we've got to be happy. We've got to be happy with that. I say the temptation for me sometimes is to, go in and some of these players, even if they've just won a game. Brilliant performance, I thought, by the majority of the team. Those who didn't play that well, look, it doesn't really matter. Well, it does to a degree because we need to keep an eye on these players, because if we don't, then we don't know who to sell, right? But really, really happy tonight. 3 wins on the bounce. Let's enjoy it tonight. Enjoy it tomorrow. Monday, we go again. Let's enjoy it tonight, tomorrow, and then we go again. We go again Monday, Tuesday, and yeah, we just go for it. So yeah, as Wise says, don't forget to put your clocks back. My phone goes backwards anyway. Your house clocks, do not forget to put them back. Yeah, guys, have a good. Well, thank you really for being here. Amazing show again tonight. It's gone really, really quickly again. I can't believe an hour and a half has gone by. More humble pie will be dished out on Monday night. So guys, yeah, thank you for being here, guys. Legends. You know, this, as I say, this channel is nothing like without you guys. I think tonight is probably one of the first times we're pretty much all on the same page, pretty much. But yeah, guys, have a fantastic Sunday. Have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for the comments. Legendary, guys. Wayne, sweet dreams, my friend. I hope your week gets better. You know, Liverpool, mate. You know, it's sweet for us. You know, but I feel your pain. So, guys, yeah, have a good rest of your weekend. I may be back tomorrow at some point. I don't know. It's a weekend. It's one of those. It's a weekend where I've got to be dad. So I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow. If not, I will be back tomorrow night. If I'm not during the day. If anything breaks, of course, I will be back on. But Liam, cheers, buddy. Have a good evening, fellas. Glory to us. We won again, 4-2. 3 wins on the bounce. The guy with the hair, hopefully very, very soon, will be able to get his hair cut and look like a normal human being again. 5 wins out of 5 means we're in a good place. Let's enjoy it tonight, enjoy it tomorrow. Next week we go again. Guys, 4-2 win. How good does it feel? Is your wife a United fan? She's more of a Crystal Palace fan. She's a football fan. She basically, my kids are, all of them are United fans. So my kids are, my missus is a Palace fan, but she basically only likes to watch the World Cup. But my kids are. So yeah, we are a United family, other than the missus. So yeah, guys, yeah. I will be back. I'm off listening to Scottish redhead woman playing the bagpipes. Nice, my friend. I do love a bagpipe. That sounds wrong. But yeah, I do. Fuck it. I do love a bagpipe. Whilst the feel good factor is here, only good vibes. I mean, look, amazing. 4-2 win, guys. Let's enjoy it. Go and have a couple of beers, whatever you're doing. Go and have a beer. Oh, Desmond, big up the chat. Big up JB. Anyone anyone dance with me, mate? If I was there, mate, I would dance with you, buddy. I'd even buy you a beer. You know. So, and we celebrate together. We are Wayne. Look, Wayne. This doesn't happen that often. So we're gonna enjoy it, lap it up, because we just don't know what's gonna happen, right? So, guys, have a wonderful evening. If you're still out listening to bagpipes, crack on. Amazing stuff, and I will be back tomorrow at some point. You guys are all fucking legends. Thank you for the support as always, and I will be back tomorrow. So take care. I'll see you on the next one.